Welcome in to Lock In Live for NFL Week 14 with Uncle Phil. Thanks for joining us this Sunday morning. I'm your host, Matt. Uncle Phil, how are you doing?
I am good, man. I was sick last week and couldn't do our lock and live, and of course, all hell broke loose after that. It just everything just kind of went bad after that. So, but doing okay today.
Definitely. Hey, well, let's talk about that. I know probably one of your worst weeks, but overall for the season, I went back and looked. I think it's 10 out of 13 weeks in NFL. You've had winning weeks, and you were on a 27-8 heater up until that point. So if you could just talk a little bit about last week, what happened and what we're going to do going forward, because there's a lot of money to be made the rest of the year.
Oh, 100%. Look, it was every few weeks the NFL shifts. It has certain patterns, kind of gets in, and it shifts, and and it's shifting right now. It hadn't completely shifted, but it's shifting right now. It's very interesting. You're starting to see teams that have no chance for the playoffs just kind of quit, kind of like the Giants did on Monday night. Where they looked so good against Detroit the week before, when they lost that game in overtime, even though it was a quick overtime, they lost it, and that they became the first team eliminated. And you could just see teams didn't. I mean, the players just didn't put much of an effort into it. Coming back, they were unfocused. The new coach bump was gone. Everything was kind of gone. I mean, even Brian Burns was no, it was Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter was benched for like the first quarter, got caught watching porn in a team meeting. You're like, what's happening here? So, anyway, you see these shifts. And again, just to reiterate, it's like I had a bad Sunday, a bad Monday, and a bad Thursday this week. And people thought the world was ending. The world's not ending. It goes just like the stock market. We kind of go up and down, but we go up and to the right each week. Look, we plan on getting back on track today. Last night was a good example. Went 3-1 last night in college, and we'll do well again today. But look, underdogs are covering at a higher rate right now. Look, the past 5 weeks. Look, I kind of watch it each week and kind of see what's going on. And the past 5 weeks, underdogs have covered each week, or the majority of them, and they're about 62% right now. And also, right now, the unders are covering. And so, if you're inclined to look at totals, you may look at the unders as well. Unders are a little bit less; they're about 58% over the past 5 weeks. But it's because the fifth and fourth week ago, there were 14 games that went 7-7 as far as unders and overs both weeks. And then the unders have solidly covered the past 3 weeks, which is about 62% if you just take the 3 weeks there. So you're seeing these shifts, and the unders are covering because, one, weather, and two, because of injuries. And that kind of factors into some of my plays today as well. So, think we've recalibrated and get back on track today. But I will say my notebook looks ugly today.
Sometimes those are the best cards. Most
You
money
bet.
to be made in the ugly. All right,
You
Uncle
bet.
Phil, let's get to it. Thanks for the review, and let's get some money today. Where are we heading first?
You're not going to like, you guys, I'm just going to tell you up front, you're not like my picks. Last week, my picks were, two of the worst teams. I think I took Tennessee and Cleveland. Well, you're going to hate them even worse this week. And this week, I'm going to the Meadowlands, where the Dolphins are coming to visit. Look, the Tua's got a clean slate. I think he's like 7-0 against the Jets, but Tua's also anything below 40 degrees. He's like, 1-7 or something like that, or 0-8, whatever. But either way, look, he got really lucky last week to hang on and beat New Orleans. And if New Orleans wasn't trying to if New Orleans had put in Spencer Rattler last week, they would have won. So look, I'm taking the Jets plus 2.5. I think the Jets are winning outright today. I just think it's I think the Dolphins' luck runs out today, and so does their chances of making the playoffs, which were never that great anyway. But they're not officially eliminated. I think that changes today. The next one I'm going to Cleveland. I'm going back to the two teams I bet for last week. One of them's got to win today. Somebody's got to cover, and I'm going to take 4 points is just way too many, especially when I've got the better quarterback for Tennessee. I'm going to take Tennessee plus 4 as my second best bet. So in the notebook today, I have got seven sides, and I've got 5 teasers. So I've got 12 picks today in the notebook. I'm excited for today. I think we're going to do well today. You're not going to like the picks. As a matter of fact, they're probably going to make you throw up.
It's pretty funny. And the bonus pick, how about that one? Is that a throw up pick or? Tell
no, bonus pick, I think is the one I've liked the most all week. And, and of course, I check things, as best I can. I watch the money, I watch the lines, and I see if there's any movement on those, and that if money's going against me or for me. And sometimes I'll make adjustments to that. And sometimes I think the money's wrong, and I'll stick with my picks and stay with my conviction. But really no particular money that's changing on my bonus pick, and hadn't changed all week. So like I said, I really like my bonus pick this week.
Okay, sweet. Well, the comments get some bonus picks too. Let's get to it. We're going to go first to Grant Croner. Grant, good to see you, brother. He says, any thoughts on the Colts versus the Jaguars?
Yeah, 100%. Look, I can tell you this much, that up until about 30 minutes ago, the Jags were not only one of my picks in my notebook, but they were also one of my best bets today. A buddy of mine I talked with at a casino this morning told me that one of his biggest needs today is the Colts. And when he tells me that, it became a no play for me today. And unfortunately, because I love that pick, I don't see any way the Jags don't win this game. But again, you never know about the Jags offense, right? From one week to the next, you never know which Trevor you're going to get. You can throw some pick sixes. But again, I had this beautiful laid out speech that I was going to give you guys about the Jags are just the lock of the day. And I pulled it off. And it's like, again, the Jags are one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFL against the run. And again, Daniel Jones is not the same Daniel Jones. You can see that. This is the Colts team that's kind of spiraling right now, right? And Daniel Jones can't run. And if he can't do the RPOs, and if he can't do any of the bootlegs, then it takes away a lot of the threats for Daniel Jones. And this seems like a tailor-made pick for the Jaguars. But sometimes I don't understand things. But when the guy tells me that the Colts are one of his biggest needs, I pulled it off for that reason. In my heart of hearts, I still believe the Jags are, but sometimes you just got to listen to Vegas, and that's what they're telling me. And I don't see any way. Also, I know that that we've always talked about Micah leads the NFL in pressures, but since week 8, Josh Hines-Allen actually leads the NFL in pressures. So you can expect Daniel Jones to get a big bowl full of him this week or today. And like I said, I don't understand it. It's a great question. I'm glad you hit me with that one up front. But like I said, I don't understand it, but that's why I backed off. But it was literally going to be one of my best bets. That one and the Jets, and then I pivoted to the Titans.
Okay. Sweet. Yep. Hey, thanks for the question there, Grant. Let's keep it rolling. We got James Bennett on X. Thoughts on the Commanders-Vikings is his question.
Yeah. Hey, James. The line's kind of flipped. It started off with the Vikings favored, then it's kind of pivoted toward Washington. And Washington was playing big. I think everybody has in their mind last night of last week of how they played against Denver. I'm not playing this game, but I'll just tell you my thoughts on it. Is that Washington probably played its best game this year. Denver's defense didn't look good. But again, Washington played almost a full overtime. And that's going to take, and they lost in a bad way. And so that's going to take its toll. I think you will see some regression. I think you'll see Darisaw. He's coming back and playing offensive tackle for the Vikings day. I think that makes a difference. I think it's going to be a really close game. I lean toward Minnesota in this game. But again, it's a lean only. It's not something I'm playing, but that's where I go. I just think Washington favored. That means that Washington is favored by 1.5 right now. So it'd mean it'd be Washington by 4.5 on a neutral field and Washington by 7.5 at home. Now, if Washington was favored by 7.5 at home, would you literally take them against the Vikings? Because that's what you're doing by taking them at 1.5 today. So that's why I lean toward the Vikings day. I think that's the side, especially for the reasons they spent. Defense spent a ton of time on the field last week, especially in overtime. When you get to over a certain number of plays in 1 week, it starts to drag and affect you the following week. I think it affects them this week. I would take Minnesota. Minnesota's stock could not be any lower right now. It's a buy low spot for Minnesota. And I'd say I think Minnesota's great, but I think it's an opportunity after Washington looked amazing, the best they've looked all year on Sunday night.
Okay, and let me just add onto that question. It looks like Daniels is playing. Does that change anything? I mean, you think he's gonna be rusty?
No, I mean, I think that he will. I think he'll do well, but I still give this one to Minnesota. If you want to look at anything, looks like a little money's coming in on the total to go over. So if you aren't happy with my pick on that and you still don't like that, then maybe look at the total, maybe look at a go over on that as well, even though that would be against trend right now overall in the NFL.
Okay, sweet. All right, James, thanks for the question, man. Best of luck to you. Next up, we got VI. He says, any thoughts on Seahawks 6.5 versus the Falcons? It's a West Coast team traveling to a 1 p.m. East Coast start.
Yeah, 100%. Always a way to look at it. But and that one's actually in my notebook. So that's not as much of a lock in the NFL as it used to be. Used to be you just blindly bet teams traveling West Coast to East Coast. I realized that you had the Rams last week, kind of looked awful against the Panthers. That's probably in everybody's mind. Anyway, again, it's in the notebook. Sorry, VI. Appreciate you. Appreciate the question. I just can't answer it, man.
Okay, sweet. We got a comment that just rolled in. Bob on X. He says it's cold in Jersey. Lives there. It's freezing for the Dolphins. I like that.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Tua just doesn't play well. I mean, honestly, this is one of my favorite plays on the board today. If my bonus pick I just didn't love any other day of the week, this may even be my bonus pick because I love. I mean, if I rank them in order, I'm going to say bonus pick up here, the Jets right below that, and then the Titans below that. So those are my picks in order today.
Okay, sweet. We got a question from Jacob about Survivor. I know that you're still in a Survivor contest. If you want to tell the audience about that, but he says Seattle or Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm in 5 different Survivor contests right now, and I like where I'm sitting. Seattle or Buffalo? I would always lean toward the home team in this one. You always go with the home team. I think that not that I think Seattle is, a tremendous risk against Atlanta. If those teams played 10 times, Seattle probably wins 9 out of 10. But I would lean toward, if those are your options, I'd lean toward Buffalo today just because you try to play the home team.
All right. Next up, we got Papa Chulo. Bengals versus Bills over.
It's a really high over on that one. You know, there's most likely going to be snow in that game. Not that affects the total tremendously, but there's some wind gusts up there at up to 20 miles an hour, which I think could slow it. I actually would probably go a little contrary on that and go under. If I would even look at potentially teasing it up and going under, but I stayed away from it. I didn't play it. If you feel real convicted about it, then play the over. But there was just some weather concerns there. I looked at the game, really high total. I realized that we just had one the other night with Dallas and Detroit, and that one sailed over. I think they were over 70 points in that game, 74, I think. So not that it couldn't happen, but that was in a dome setting. It would have to go when you have an over that high. The majority of them actually do hit, but especially if it's in a dome, but with the weather and it being outside and the wind being what it is, then there's some slipping. I think that there may be some more running in this game than you think. So I personally lean toward the under on that one. I know the under, nobody ever wants to hear the under, right? But that's kind of where I see that game.
Should be a fun game.
Burrow
versus Allen. Yeah. And I think it's 14 miles per hour on the wind, last I checked. So
it is, but there's gusts up to 20.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely makes a difference. All right, let's keep going.
And that's each quarter. I've looked at each quarter in that game. Gusts are going to be 20 and over each quarter in that game. So it'll be steady throughout.
Okay, sweet. Man, there's a lot of questions rolling in. I love it. We got Bill Brand on YouTube. He wants to know about Eagles Chargers. I know that's Monday night. So
yeah. Hey, Bill, good to hear from you, brother. Thanks for the text last night. Bill's one of my seasoned customers. Look, here's the deal. I'll post this one publicly, and I haven't really decided yet. The Chargers are obviously without both tackles. Their interior offensive line is one of the worst interior offensive lines in the NFL. But the Eagles just had Jalen Carter. He's got problems with both shoulders. I think he had to have a surgery on both. But either way, I mean, that takes away a little bit of the threat or a little bit of the pressure. And the Chargers are pretty good against the run. So that means that it's going to be on Jalen Hurts to throw the ball. And he really doesn't throw in the middle and throws on the outside. He throws toward the boundary. So, that's going to be where he's going to have to make hay on this one. I think that you're going to have Justin Herbert probably do a lot with his legs, as usual in this game. I think it's going to be a fun game. Eagles are favored by 2.5, which means be 5.5 on a neutral field, which means it'd be 8.5 at Philly, which seems like an awful lot to me. I mean, I haven't really turned the page to Monday night yet, but if I did right now, I kind of lean toward the underdog. But like I said, nothing official yet. I'll let you guys know tomorrow night.
Okay, sweet. And because Bill is a customer, we'll give him another question. Really appreciate your support, Bill.
Absolutely.
Bears Packers.
Sorry, I meant Bears Packers. Bears Packers. That one's in a notebook, Bill, so you'll get to see that one. So we'll leave it toward that. If you're looking, I'll say this: if you're looking at the total on that one, you may look at this one slightly to under. The Packers are averaging giving up around 10 points at home. It's a lot different on the road, but at home their defense is really solid. So I would look at. I know it's only 44 points, but I would look toward the under on that one. So that's my 2 cents. on what I can share with you. I did take a side on that one. That's in the notebook.
Yep. We'll take a few more here before we get to an hour before kickoff.
Sure.
Got a question on Instagram from Jimmy. Jimmy wants to know your thoughts on the Steelers today.
Hey, Jimmy, thanks for the question, buddy. I wish I could answer it. That one's also in the notebook.
Yep. All right, let's see here. Let's keep rolling. Buccaneers from Mash Rock.
Before we switch back to before we go that one, I want to switch back to Jimmy on Instagram. I would probably say, I played the side on that game, but I didn't play the total on the Steelers-Ravens game. But money's starting to come in on the over on that one. So if you're looking at that one, I might suggest looking over on the total. I know that'd be kind of counterintuitive on that, which teams that are known for defense, but there could be some points scored today. At least a lot of the big money. Again, what we talked about is that if money comes in on today, I mean, this is not $10,000 bets. These are $100,000, $200,000 bets or $1 million bets that are coming in today, and money, and to move money this late or move lines this late in the week tells you a lot about someone's conviction in that. And typically late money is smart money. Not always, but it's just not you don't just blindly bet it, but it's about 60% correct. The late money is the smart money. Okay, so you said the Buccaneers was the next one?
Yep.
Hate to be a jackass, but that one's in the notebook too. Sorry, man.
It's all good.
My bad.
Alrighty, let's see here.
Really low total in that game, surprisingly. I just look at that.
Yep. Got a question that came on Instagram in a DM. Gentleman wants to know about the total in the Houston Chiefs game.
That one is in the notebook too. I'm just an asshole, but yeah, it's in the notebook. My apologies, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any props you like today, Uncle Phil?
Good question. Let's see. Tonight in the Kansas City game, Houston tends to play zone, which typically means good for Rashee Rice as well as Kelsey. So you'll have that. I'd probably go Patrick Mahomes under his rushing total or under his number of attempts. Just don't think you'll see that happening today. Houston would put a hurt on them, just kind of off the top of my head. I would put well, I can't say that one. That would violate a notebook play. Let's see. Gosh, kind of threw me off on that one. I'm just really not thinking about a ton of props during that. I could probably think of 20 once we get off, but right now, kind of focused on the day today. So sorry, man.
Yeah, no worries there. I guess the last question I'll ask before we take off is Week 14. Any Super Bowl futures bets you're eyeing? Any team standing out to you? You think there's value?
Look, I think Green Bay right now looks really good. Rams, of course, I think last week was kind of an anomaly on them. I think Green Bay and the Rams are probably going to be in the NFC Championship. But I don't see a lot of value there. I think your value is going to come from the AFC because the AFC is so wide open, right? I haven't looked at the odds right now, but your long shot. Look, what if Baltimore wins today? Steelers continue kind of collapsing. Cincinnati takes one loss. um, and Baltimore, maybe the last game of the year, is able to sit Lamar, and he's a lock. They're locked to get in, and they sit him, and he gets a couple weeks to rest his ankle and hamstring, and maybe he turns into the guy that we know he is, because right now he's hurt. But if he gets better, then that changes that team dramatically to do that. So, might look at that, but I'd also potentially look at Buffalo. Just that maybe it's there, just kind of your longer shots. Look at that. I still am not a massive believer in New England. Look, I love them. I think they're a great team, but they played a super easy schedule. And that's what that took the Giants against them, just because I thought 7.5 was too much. I just didn't realize the Giants had quit on Monday night, which they clearly did. So, I think New England, Drake Mays, he's a top 2 or 3 quarterback right now. His ball placement is unbelievable. But I think they need some more help. They need some more weapons. They need some more help on the offensive line. They've got some things there, but they've got all the tools. They've got the coach, but I don't think this is their year yet. But next year could be. But I might look at a team that everybody else is kind of cast away right now.
Love it. All right, Uncle Phil, we're 60 minutes from kickoff. Any final thoughts here before we take off?
Yeah. Look, guys, I'm just finishing up being sick. Sorry, my voice is still rough, but I'm fine. It's just my voice sounds bad. But look, I think we're going to have a good day today. I've gotten through the sickness. I've been able to focus back this week. And I think we're going to be back on track like we were last night. And again, we've been profitable 10 out of 13 weeks in NFL. I've only had 5 out of 15 weeks in college lose as well. So I think we'll do well today. So guys, again, best bets today: Jets plus 2.5, Tennessee plus 4. I realize swallow hard on that one. But again, better quarterback, and it should be a 3-point spread, in my opinion. You're giving me 1 point of value, I'm going to take it. So, guys, listen, let's have a day. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate all the well wishes as well. Let's have a day. As always, guys, let's roll.